And join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GBNews.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. Oh, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your weekend starts here. Are you sitting comfortably? Well, let's get cracking, shall we? It's Friday, it's 7 o'clock, and no, it's not Cracker Jack. It's much, much better than that. This is the one and only Friday Night Feast. Pour yourself a massive drink, grab your nuts, do whatever you feel like, and get ready for 2 hours of lively debate and plenty of laughs. In fact, let's be honest, it's going to be total carnage. We don't want to ease you really into the weekend. We want to crash you into it. That's right, and that's what we're going to be doing between now and 9 o'clock. Now, believe it or not, I am about to embark on, no, not a sign language course, but one of my most difficult challenges yet, and bearing in mind that I ended up in A&E in the last one. And also, we'll try to rehome a rescue dog. Can you find it in your heart to give this cheeky chappy Joey a happy ending? And stand by for some absolutely massive news about a previous dog of the week. No, it's not been put down. We'll reveal that a little bit later on. I'll be joined in the studio by one of the worst cricket teams in the world. They've finally won their first match in almost 30 years. We've got a huge debate taking place as well on whether or not police should be allowed to actually attend Pride events. Would it be better if every single world leader was a woman? OK, get your views on that. All of that is to come, and much, much more between now and... But first, here's the latest news headlines brought to you this evening by the wonderful, the one, the only, it's Simon Pusey.
Hello, I'm Simon Pusey in the GB newsroom. Detectives say a serial sex attacker who drugged and assaulted straight men could have attacked many more victims who may be too embarrassed to come forward. 35-year-old Luis da Silva Neto was found guilty of spiking 2 men with drugs before raping one and sexually assaulting the other. He used the date rape drug GHB in separate incidents last November and December in Middle Barton in Oxfordshire. Da Silva Neto, who's from London, will be sentenced next Thursday. The Conservative whip has been suspended from Chris Pincher while the MP is being investigated. A formal complaint was made to Parliament's watchdog after he was accused of groping 2 men at a private members' club while drunk on Wednesday. He resigned last night, saying he'd embarrassed himself and other people after drinking too much. GB News understands British authorities have plans in place for the possible return of a convicted jihadist and alleged member of the so-called Islamic State group. Ain Davis, part of the execution squad known as the Beatles, could be deported within weeks as he nears the end of his prison sentence in Turkey. Davis, from West London, was jailed for terrorism offences in 2017. According to reports, Turkish officials say he's scheduled to be released on the 9th of July, but could be arrested and face a criminal investigation when he returns to the UK. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has appealed against a decision to extradite him to the US. He's wanted by American authorities over documents leaked in 2010 and 2011 linked to the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The Home Secretary Priti Patel approved his extradition last month. 2 British men have been charged with mercenary activities in the separatist region of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. That's according to the Russian news agency TASS. It's after Russian missile strikes killed at least 21 people, including a 12-year-old boy in the port of Odessa. Officials say a residential block was flattened while people were asleep. Earlier, authorities confirmed 41 people had been rescued from a site where 152 people lived. The Kremlin has denied targeting civilians. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Moscow is still focusing its firepower on the east of the country.
The situation in Donbass remains the harshest. The fire superiority of the occupiers is still felt very much. They simply took everything from their reserves to hit us in the Luhansk region, in the Donetsk region. I'm grateful to everyone who defends our positions in such conditions. It's true heroism.
Police have warned that lives could be put at risk if protests go ahead at the British Formula One Grand Prix this weekend. Northamptonshire police say they've received credible intelligence that a group are planning to invade the track on race day. A record crowd of 142,000 are expected at Silverstone on Sunday. Local authorities fear the event could be disrupted. TV, online and DAB+ radio, this is GB News. Now it's back to the fabulous Patrick and Friday Night Feast.
A very good evening, everybody. It's just gone 7:05, which can mean one thing and one thing only. It's Friday Night Feast time, ladies and gentlemen. Your weekend starts here. Now, we all love a party. Let's get stuck into this, shall we? Apparently, uniformed police officers aren't welcome at gay pride events. Well, I'm sorry, but this is a bit ridiculous, isn't it? This is the same police force that painted their cars in rainbow flags, had rainbow-coloured helmets, for goodness sake, and also, for want of a better phrase. I do understand the anger amongst the gay community about the police's bungled investigation into serial killer Stephen Port. I really do understand that. But the logic behind uniformed police not being welcome at pride events because of that cock-up just doesn't make sense, OK? Our police are taking an absolute kicking at the minute. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, basically branded them institutionally racist, misogynistic, and now they're institutionally homophobic as well, are they? Well, excuse me, but the implication here, from where I'm sitting, is that uniformed police officers would be attacked by members of the gay community if they turned up in uniform. Well, that's all the more reason for them to be there then, isn't it? And I find that absolutely staggering. I'm sorry, but this is symptomatic of where we are as a society now, isn't it? This entitlement that if you've suffered some kind of outrage, then you have the right to make unconditional demands to make yourself feel better. Well, I'm sorry, life doesn't work that way. I totally get that the LGBTQ plus whatever else community have a right to feel as though the police didn't do all they could to stop that Grindr killer, because that's true. They didn't, and I do get that. But Britain's most prolific ever rapist actually turns out to be a gay man who raped mostly straight men. And he was at it for years. He's Reynard Singer, who's convicted of 159 sex offences against mostly straight men. So does the straight community have a right to ban uniformed police officers from stuff as well? Well, no, of course not, because that would be ridiculous. The police weren't exactly quick off the mark to defend straight people there, though, were they? Does that make them, I don't know, straight-phobic? I'm not sure, really. No, of course it doesn't. You know what's going to happen, though, don't you? You can see it coming a mile off, can't you? If there's some kind of incident at this Pride event, then everyone will be looking round going, where on earth are the police? Well, you told them not to bother, mate, didn't you? So they're at home, probably, I don't know. And there's the real madness of it all, isn't there? The real madness of it all. We keep being told there isn't enough diversity in the police force, and then some members of the gay community basically ban gay people and gay police officers from a Pride event, which essentially tells gay people that they shouldn't join the police force, because if they do, then they'll be scabs. Look, I'm sorry, but the LGBTQ plus whatever else community gets an entire month dedicated to it. Rightly so, fine, I'm cool with that. They have managed to get the education system to include it in the curriculum. We've got men in women's prisons. We've got men in women's sports. We've got drag queens in primary schools. I'm sorry, but they don't get to dictate where and when uniformed police officers can walk the streets of Britain as well. Yes, well, look, what I want now is for you to get in touch with me, OK, about this, because you can see the email just out on your screen if you're listening on radio, of course, or watching us online. GBviews at gbnews.uk. Get them coming in, people. We are the People's Channel. This is all about you, and I'm going to be speaking to Peter Tatchell about that very topic in around 10 minutes, OK? So he's, well, I don't know, deemed a relatively controversial figure. I speak to him a lot of the time. I've always found him quite a nice chap, but, you know, he's bang in favour, from what I can tell, of police officers, uniformed police officers, basically not being welcome, of course, at Pride events. So how do you feel about that? Make sure you get in touch. gbviews@gbnews.uk. You can tweet me as well, at GBNews, but make sure they're good, though, because obviously, look, we're a select show, this. It's highbrow stuff, right? We'll only read out the very best. It's at GB News. But joining me this evening are the extremely sultry Francine Lewis. And can I just say, you've excelled yourself this evening, by the way.
Thank you.
What people can't see is that Francine basically needs a stepladder to get onto the stool, right? So we've had to... There we go. And I have to hand you your drink as well, because you can't reach it. It's very cute. And, of course, we've got the slightly scary Will Geddes.
Hardly scary. Hardly scary.
Very scary. Terrifying, Matt. Now, cheers. Thank you
Cheers.
very much. Lovely stuff. Okay,
Thanks for the invite,
Now,
Francine.
Yes,
Lovely to meet
thank
you.
you.
Lovely. Look, this show, as we all know, is wild, and this is going to be no different. So if you could see what's been happening behind the scenes here, you'd be surprised we're on air, but there we go. Anyway, here's a question for you, OK? Though, seriously, I'll be going to you guys very shortly, so stay tuned. But here's a question for you right now. Would Russia have invaded Ukraine if Vladimir Putin was a woman? Now, it might sound like a strange thing to ask, but that's exactly what Boris Johnson said earlier this week. Just take a listen to this.
You need more women in positions of power. If Putin was a woman, which he obviously isn't, but if he were, I really don't think he would have embarked on a crazy macho war of invasion and violence in the way that he has. If you want a perfect example of toxic masculinity, it's what he's doing in Ukraine.
Boris Johnson there, just looking like he's crawled off a stag do. Anyway, it's got us thinking, though. Does the sex of a country's leader really matter? After all, in the last 40 years, both male and female prime ministers have led the United Kingdom into wars, actually. I went out and about earlier to find out what the great British public had to say about this matter. And this is what you said.
It doesn't make any difference. It depends on the person.
It's just a person.
It's nothing to do with men or women, it's just their attitude.
It's just who you are.
That's it.
Do you think women make better leaders than men?
No.
Really?
No.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wouldn't say so at all, no.
Why not?
No, I don't know. I just think that men have more sense, to be honest, than women. A lot of them. No, I do. Some of them are quite good, I know, but I don't like the one that runs the EU. I can't think of
Ursula
her.
von der Leyen.
I don't like her at all.
No, not a lot of people do.
I think she's useless quite
Well,
honestly.
Angie could have... No one voted for her either, so... Yeah.
Well, that tells you something, doesn't it?
Do you think that men make better leaders than women?
Yes.
Why?
Do you?
I'm the one asking the questions.
100%.
Yeah, but why?
We built this planet.
Men built this planet.
Facts.
Oh, for heaven's sake, I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't know?
Not specifically, no.
OK. Do you think there'd be fewer wars if women were in charge?
I don't think it would make much difference.
Why not? Because you don't think... But fundamentally, there's not much difference between men and women for you, basically, as people.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Not really.
Do you think that men make better leaders than women?
No,
Why not?
because they're very self-possessed and they only do what they want to do.
Oh, so you think women make better leaders?
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, there we go. That's a fair representation of the British public, obviously. And I like the guy with the glasses, to be fair.
He was awesome, wasn't he? Yeah.
He was fantastic. Anyway, right, OK, so now to have this one out, I'm joined by a couple of journalism legends in the shape of Mike Perry and Nina Mishkov. And this is going to be absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much, both of you, by the way, for giving up your Friday night. I'm sure you have a virile social life and you've dedicated it to this. Mike, I'll start with you. Would women make better leaders?
First of all, can I just say good evening on a Friday night? It's the one night of the week when I take a sherry before dinner, OK?
Yeah. Right, so I already don't believe you, but carry on, yeah.
And may I also say a big hello to Francine and Will, as well as yourself, Patrick. Thanks very much indeed. Now, can I just point out that you've asked about whether women leaders could be more aggressive than male leaders. Can I just point out that 250 years ago, Catherine the Great invaded Crimea, OK? So she got round to that 250 years before Vladimir Putin. Can I also point out that Bloody Mary, Mary Queen of Scots, Mary the First of England, had at least 1,500 Christians, Protestants that is, burnt at the stake. Can I point out that all over Europe, in the times of ancient Greece and Rome, as I'm sure Boris Johnson, a classicist himself, will know, women leaders were going around burying prisoners alive if they didn't like the way they looked at them. So there is a huge history of women leaders who've been brutal across the ages. To the modern era, I'm sorry, can I just
very
say
quickly,
this?
Mike, very quickly.
Very quickly, Mrs. Thatcher fought a proper war to protect the sovereignty of this country, whereas David Cameron and Tony Blair fought illegal wars that did not need to be waged.
OK, right, Nina, thank you very much. Nina Mishkov here. I will bring you in now. I mean, look, hey, would the world be a better place if all of the leaders were women? Because, I mean, Mike, it sounds a bit like thinks you might be a menace.
Look, the thing is, I've always thought that women rule the world and women should rule the world. If you look at the female leaders in Scandinavia, look at Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, these are women of great courage, great strength, great wit. They are not toxically aggressive. So they are more pragmatic than that. What I think is the most ironic thing about this whole stupid, idiotic point is that it's the pot calling the kettle black with Boris Johnson. He is a delusional, narcissistic, aggressive person. He has led our country into a state where 80% of people in this country think and know that we are less respected in the world, that we have gone down in the world since he's been our leader. We are a laughingstock. And it's not just because he's a man, obviously, but it's because he is a narcissistic person who has surrounded himself with yes men, and he's charging ahead. He's not invading another country, but he is destroying ours.
OK, all right. Mike, are you a toxic, narcissistic, nasty piece of work?
No, I'm not. And look, I listened to what Nina said. I can't remember Boris Johnson actually waging.
I'm not saying that about Mike. I'm talking about
No, I know you're not saying about Mike. I know you're saying about Mike. I'm saying as a man, right, Mike?
Yeah. I can't remember Boris waging a war so far. He probably hasn't had time yet. But I do say that the reason that 300 or 400 people are coming across the English Channel every day is down to the horrific decisions made by Blair and Cameron on waging war in the Middle East. And they were pointless wars, they were hopeless wars, and Boris Johnson has not done that. What Boris Johnson has done is he stood up to tyranny, has led the world in the battle against the tyrant called Putin, and we should all be very proud of him, and it has glorified our country. It has not in any way put the reputation of this country into any doubt.
Look, just Nina, I'll bring you in a sec, but I want to ask you something directly. This is something I don't think we included in the Voxes there, but I was out pounding the pavements of Maidenhead earlier. The pavements are the worst for it, by the way. But a lot of people were saying to me, hey, look, if women wanted to rule the world, if they worked a bit harder in politics, they could do it.
It's not a question of that. You worked a bit harder. That is not it. You know that women bear children, and therefore they have to take time out to look after, bear those children, to look out after them. So you can't just say that we're on an equal footing with men when it comes down to that. That is absolutely not the case. You know, the women have fought a long and hard battle. But if you look at other countries, a country that I know that Mike likes is Iceland. Well, in 1975, 90% of the women went out on strike because for better rights. They did no work at home. They did no work anywhere. And within a week, the whole country was in chaos. They'd run out of hot dogs because men were trying to feed their children. All they could think of was hot dogs. They'd run out of them. But within 5 years...
Sorry, right, look, no, sorry, Nina. I'm going to have to interrupt here. It's not... I take your broader point, right? But the idea that when all of the women in Iceland went on strike, that the only thing the men could think to feed their kids was hot dogs and the country went to pot clearly can't be true.
Hot dogs. They ran out of hot dogs.
What? You know what? Unfortunately, well, the difficulty with this is I can't now disprove that because I'm live on air and I've obviously never heard that before. So if that's true, then that's wild. But I mean, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't believe that that's true. But okay, right, Mike. Okay, so Mike, I'll lob it back over to you. We're going to go to our panel in a second. But Mike, I mean, you know, is there an argument, therefore, I suppose, that if men didn't occupy countries, or rule countries, I should say, that things would be done more efficiently by women? We're talking here in the context of war, right? And in various acts of aggression and stuff. Maybe someone like Nina would be more sensitive.
Well, I don't think Boadicea was terribly sensitive, was she? What happened was the Romans came here, started messing around with people in her part of the country, East Anglia, and Boadicea hit back. Now, that was a necessary and quite justified response. I don't think women go and needlessly start trouble all over the place. And again, if I can refer back to Mrs. Thatcher, her logic and her ability to run things was based on common sense. And women have a lot more common sense than men have. Mrs. Thatcher said, if you spend more than you earn, you get yourself into trouble. If only every chancellor since then could remember that. And I say again, she only ever sent our military forces out into the world to protect sovereign UK territory, whereas Cameron and Blair waged war to big themselves up because they thought if Mrs. Thatcher's won a war, I want to win one as well.
All right, Nina, can I just ask you a pretty straightforward question? From where I'm sitting, you know, a lot of the feminist arguments seem to be there's no difference between men and women, but what you're saying is there is a difference between men and women.
Well, it's not fashionable to say it, and it's not helpful when we're trying to get gender equality. But I think we have to be strong enough as women to recognise that there are differences between men and women. Like, as for instance, saying that men on the whole are physically stronger than women. That's a fact. That's a fact. But there are certain attributes that women have. We prefer to talk rather than use our fists. So we go back, you know, so therefore we are more inclined to debate, to be more sensitive about the issues and to think before we don't put sort of testosterone to the pedal. That's what I'm saying.
Both of you, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm sure our viewers did as well, and our listeners did. Lovely stuff, that. And, yeah, you're both fan favourites here, so keep coming back. All right, that was, of course, two journalistic legends there, Mike Parry and Nina Mishkov. Thank you very, very much. Now, OK, interesting stuff, this, because a little bit later in this hour, I'll bring you the latest instalment, of course, of Challenge Christys, and that's, in fact, coming next, and we'll get more on tomorrow's Pride Parade in London and whether uniformed police officers should be there. I tell you what, though, I mean, if you were watching last week, you'd have thought the world had gone mad. It feels good to be back on a totally normal Friday night feast. Absolutely nothing unusual on the show tonight whatsoever. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing could possibly ever go wrong. All right, mate.
Hello, about time for a drink, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Are you completely... What's happening? Oh. Is he... Right, OK, well, I think I'll make mine a double, but I can already see them. OK, all right, I will see you in 2 minutes. What the heck is this? Absolutely nuts. We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio.
On digital. Absolutely everywhere.
We don't talk down to you.
We embrace all voices with honest and civilised conversation.
We are not part of the establishment. We're one of you.
And we're only getting started.
Join us on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel. Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood, and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GBNews.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. This show is nuts. Right, OK, welcome. I had no idea that was happening, by the way. Welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Now, earlier I mentioned this story about the Met Police, OK, bungling the investigation into Stephen Port, who was, of course, the serial killer who murdered 4 men. The LGBT campaign group Pride in London has told uniformed coppers to stay away from its annual event. They say the mishandling of the case was, quote, homophobic. Now, it comes after human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell said the case showed institutional homophobia is alive and kicking in the Met Police. He said that if the force had conducted a proper investigation after the murder of Port's first victim, then the 3 other young gay men might still be alive. Now, Peter joins me now. We're going to listen to Peter a bit and bring the panel in, and then, don't worry, it gets a bit lighter after this. Yes, Peter, thank you very much for joining me. I seem to be speaking to you I talk to you more than my missus these days. Right, look, I think a lot of people would struggle to get their heads around the idea that uniformed police officers, the same police force that painted some of their cars in the rainbow flag, that had rainbow flagged helmets and this, that and the other, wouldn't be welcome at a Pride event.
Well, there are lots of good officers. They are welcome. But we'd like them to come in plain clothes because the force as a whole has faced serious accusations and evidence of homophobia, racism and misogyny. And we think that while the individual officers are welcome in plain clothes, the police as an institution are not until they reform. When they reform, of course, we'll them back.
OK, well, can I make the case that Britain's most prolific rapist was a gay man who raped mostly straight men? And so, you know, would the police not be welcome now at a straight event? You know, was that straight-phobic?
Well, I don't think the comparison is a simple one like that at all. I don't think the comparison works. The point is, we want to have a good relation with the police. And sadly, on issues of race, gender and sexuality and gender identity, relations have failed on a number of occasions. And we need to get that right. So far, the lobbying and negotiations have not worked. So we're trying to use Pride as a leverage to help pressure the police to get their house in order. And I think that's entirely reasonable to do.
We're currently playing a bit of footage from, I think it was a Pride event either last year or the year before, of a police officer in uniform proposing to his boyfriend at a Pride event surrounded by other police officers in uniform. What more do you want, Pierre?
Well, that was in 2019,
right.
And we were very happy for that celebration to take place and for those 2 guys to...
But you'd ban that now, wouldn't you? There's 2 blokes there. I'm watching 2 blokes kiss. One of them's in uniform, and you're saying to me now that wouldn't be welcome at a Pride event.
Well, I think we have to take a stand against the police. You know, already the police, the Metropolitan Police, are under special measures. The Independent Inspectorate of Constabulary has said there are systemic failings in the Metropolitan Police. That's not me or the gay community saying it. It's the independent body that oversees the police. And if they're saying it, then clearly there is a problem. And we need to use leverage to get the police back on track. And we want them back on track. But I don't think we should just roll over and accept the police when they are failing not only our community, but they're failing all of London. I mean, most crimes are not investigated. The report said that nearly 70,000 crimes were not recorded by the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a failing of all Londoners, not just gay ones.
Yeah, look, by the way, I've been openly critical of the way the police have done numerous things, frankly, over the years. Would Sadiq Khan be welcome? Because technically he's in charge of it. So is he responsible for what you would regard as rampant homophobia or in the police force? Because I bet he'll be there with bells on, won't he?
Well, the Mayor of London does not have any operational responsibility for the Metropolitan Police, so he cannot be accountable. The buck stops with the Commissioner. And as we know, the Commissioner, Cressida Dick, did resign as a result of all these institutional failings. And that was the right thing to do. And we hope that
she is gay, Peter.
Will draw a new line under the past and move forward with us.
But Cressida Dick, as far as I know, is gay. She's gay. So what?
Yeah, well...
But she was in charge of the force. So what?
Just because you're a lesbian doesn't make you always right. I mean, Cressida Dick did a lot of good things, but she also made some big mistakes over Charles de Menace, the shooting of the man, and also, of course, presiding over an institution that stands accused of these very serious failings for the people of London. We have a right to expect a commissioner who will protect us, who will investigate crimes, record crimes, that will do so fairly and impartially and get results. And the results of the Metropolitan Police are very poor. If you have had a burglary, you'll know how tough it is.
Yeah, OK, right. Now, last one with you, Peter, because I'm going to bring the panel in a second. I appreciate your candour, I suppose, with this. Now, there are a lot of hate crimes that take place. In fact, I believe there was one in Oslo recently. There's been several in America, of course, a terrible nightclub shooting. Is there a chance that by saying that a uniformed police presence is not needed or wanted, really, not welcome as a Pride event, if something kicks off, if, you know, some rabid Islamist or rabid far-right nutter or whatever, you know, decides to drive a car through a Pride event, you'd be wishing that there were more police there, wouldn't you?
Well, what we've said is the police are not welcome in the parade in uniform.
Do you think they'd be attacked? Sorry. Do you think they'd be attacked?
Sorry?
Do you think if police turned up in uniform that they'd be attacked at a Pride event?
Well, I mean, anybody who may do harm has often done harm, regardless of whether police are present or not. But we have not said the police should not patrol the streets, should not be present to safeguard the parade. We've just said that in the parade itself, for this year, until the police reform, the police as an institution is not welcome. But of course, we welcome working with the police to make the Pride parade safe.
Look, Peter, I interview you, well, as I said earlier, on a nearly daily basis these days, actually, and I always appreciate our discussions. You know, we can go back and forth, we can agree, we can disagree, but I always appreciate you making the time for us, and thank you very, very much.
Even the Police Pride Network have said they agreed that the police should not march. The Police Pride Network has said that.
But is that because they can't guarantee the... Sorry, this is very much the last one, I'm sorry, but is it because they can't guarantee the police's safety? Because that's a problem. You mean you didn't give me an answer there when I said, would the police be attacked at a Pride event if they turned up in uniform? You didn't say no, and that's a concern.
I misunderstood because I couldn't hear you properly. Of course they wouldn't be attacked, of course.
Right, okay, fair enough, there's the answer. OK, good stuff, Peter. All right, mate, take care, I'll see you.
We respect and thank the police who do, in many cases, in fact, in most cases, a very good job. I thank them with wholehearted.
Peter, thank you very much, as always. No doubt I'll be talking to you very, very soon. Peter Tatchell there, of course, human rights campaigner. Well, I think it's about time, isn't it? Sorry, you guys have just done so much sitting here. My wonderful panel. Francine, I'll go ladies first. Well, ladies first, well.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us, Francine, of course. How do you feel about this? It gets lighter, don't worry, later on in the show. But how do you feel about this idea, then, that, you know, we shouldn't have uniformed police at a Pride event?
I think, like you, it's ridiculous. I mean, what if there's a major problem? How would you know who to go and call for help to if they're not in uniform?
Good point. Good point.
And I don't think you can tarnish every police officer with the same brush. You can't call every police officer homophobic. That's generalisation, and it's not on. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I do not agree with anything Peter's just said. And Of course the police should be at an event like that. You know, and the police are so important to be at any kind of event like this. We don't know what can happen. Like you said, a car could just drive through. So, you know...
some nutter with a knife or anything, and it's as easy as that.
I would feel safer being at an event knowing there was police there around me.
And who you could identify, because that's the point.
Yes.
That's the point of a uniform, so you can identify someone in a time of crisis.
Definitely.
I'll just throw over to you there, really. I mean, obviously, you heard all that. You are a security expert.
Supposedly.
You are. You're also a top bloke as well, of course, but... I was paid to say that. No, we're talking about a major public event here, a very well-attended event.
Yeah.
Would you ever advise there to not be a visible police presence?
No, it's nonsense. And you know what? I like Peter Tatchell. I think he's done an awful lot about it. Inclusion,
nice guy.
Inclusion with the gay community and the LGBT community. The police need inclusion as well. They are hugely alienated at the moment. They are having a really tough time. Morale is at its lowest. I've got a lot of friends in the police. And they are having a really tough time trying to, again, engage with communities. And this is a very important community, and it's a community that, regrettably, has a lot of hate crime that is levelled towards it.
Yes.
And to take Francis' point, which is incredibly valid, is in terms of a point of help. There are two factors that the police will fulfil. One is a protection factor, obviously, for those going to the parade. Not just those in the parade, but those going along to obviously support it. But secondly, they are also a visual deterrent to potential threats. And you take New York last week. I don't know whether you saw that. There was the LGBT Pride march. Some fireworks went off. Yeah. Everybody panicked. I thought it was gunfire. Now, without police being there to actually control the situation, what are they going to be able to do? Yeah. So, you know, I think Peter, he talks a lot of sense most of the time, but that was absolute bunkum. And I think the most important thing is, and gay friends of mine have turned around and said, we'd want the police there.
Look, absolutely. But it's a strong start, this, I must say. You did a lot of sitting and then you just both came out swinging. Fantastic stuff. OK, right. After this break, I will show you the latest instalment of Challenge Christys. And here's something for you to just have a little think about while we're away. So, in 2014, Alan Eustace did a skydive from 135,889 feet. But how fast did he travel? Was it A, 222 miles per hour, B, 522 miles per hour, or C, 822 miles per hour? I will see you in 2. We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio.
On digital. Absolutely everywhere.
We don't talk down to you.
We embrace all voices with honest and civilised conversation.
We are not part of the establishment. We're one of you.
And we're only getting started.
Join us on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel. Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. Well, welcome back to Friday Night Feast. This is the show where, really, frankly, anything can happen completely out of the blue. You never know what's just around the corner. But before the break, I asked you, didn't I, when Alan Eustace did a skydive from 135,889 feet, how fast did he travel? Was it A, 222 miles per hour? Was it B, 522 miles per hour? Or was it C, 822 miles per hour? Before we get the results, don't give him the results yet. Will, you had an idea. So Will knows a thing or two about skydiving.
Yeah, I've done a bit of skydiving.
What's your guess then, A, B or C? So we've got 222, 522, 822.
At that height, 135,000. So the highest I've jumped is 12,000 feet.
Right.
Skydiving. And I broke my back in 2 places.
Get a load of this guy.
And
He's a real
I got up because I didn't want to be on the beer board. I would say for that height, probably about 522. I'd go middle ground.
522.
Yeah, because you get maximum velocity, terminal velocity at about 200 miles per hour, I think.
OK, so what was it again? Sorry, 522.
No, I'll go for B, yeah.
You're going for B, 522.
Yeah, I probably got it entirely wrong, I think.
Well, I don't know, none of us know. Francine, quick guess.
I'm not going to claim to know anything about skydiving, but I was going to go B as well.
You were going to go B as well?
I was taking a wild guess.
522, right. Well, I think we're just about to reveal the results now. So the correct answer is C.
Oh, my God.
822 miles per hour.
He must have had lunch before he went.
He must have had lunch before. What's going on here now? I mean, honestly, who?
It's my new best friend.
Where's this guy come from?
Blade.
What a great show to be on, Patrick.
So
Thank you.
Hey, I'll take it in the bottle, buddy. There you go. Because you've got more important things to do, I think.
We've got a butler in the buff here. Who hired you? Have you just turned up?
Me.
Yeah.
OK.
Francine, yeah.
All right.
I've just found my way here.
Thank you very much, I must say. Well, you certainly look the part. I've got no idea why this is happening, but it's great to have you on the show.
Just a reminder to me, I've got to get it back in the gym.
Yeah, you made me want to cry. Right, OK. Good stuff. Francine, you hungry?
He doesn't make me want to cry. I'm starving.
Are you? OK, well, just well, it appears he's got... Oh, gosh, OK. Right, well, you do that. We'll carry on with the show. Yeah, absolutely. Crack
kids
on.
gone to bed?
Do your thing. And so I'll just try to ignore what's going on in my peripheral vision while I do this. So to give you an idea of just how fast and, that is, basically. Most commercial planes fly somewhere in the region of 500 miles an hour. What's happened? Oh, good grief. We've dragged this into the gutter.
It's really good.
I'm too young to watch
Very
this.
nice and creamy top.
Right, OK, right, we're going to do Challenge Christys. I don't know, who got this guy? Where have we got this guy from? Anyway, right, OK, so somewhere in the region of 500 miles an hour, that's the average plane flight. Rather him than me. But, ladies and gentlemen, good gracious, man, there's going to have to be words out after this. It leads me nicely onto this. Right, OK, good grief. Well, so, yes, it's that time of the week again. It's Challenge Christys time, ladies and gentlemen, and in a moment you'll find out what I've been up to this week. But if you're a regular viewer or listener, for example, you'll know that I'm building up for what is the ultimate challenge. Although, I mean, given what we've just seen, that guy's called Blade, by the way. Blade. His name is Blade. Anyway, I'll be getting my clothes off in front of a live audience while doing a dance routine with the Dream Boys, who are, of course, a group of male strippers. Anyway, it's all for a good cause, though, by the way. I'm not getting my kit off just for the sake of it. I mean, who would? Especially if you look like a blancmange like I do. But I'm raising money for the mental health charity Mind, and thank you very much, everyone who's donated. I think you can see the link just there. If you're listening on your radio, justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. That's justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. We've raised over 26 grand now between myself and a guy called Nathan Dunn. We're trying to get to 50k, all right, if we can. Give it a few weeks. I'm sure we will, but there we go. But obviously, in fact, I can reveal... We exclusively here at GB News, well, you have raised 21,205 quid. But on top of that, we're in conjunction with a guy called Nathan Dunn. He's walking from John O'Groats to Land's End barefoot, setting a world record in the process. He finishes that on Sunday, so that's great. He's also raised quite a few grand as well, so collectively we're on about 26, 27 grand. But if you've got a bit of change knocking about and rattling the can, or in my case, the bowl of peanuts that they give me, it really is a Friday night feast, ladies and gentlemen. Please do. It's justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. There is a real mental health crisis out there in this country. There's no denying that, OK? All the money that we get, all of it, every single penny goes to Mind, who do great work all over the UK. And there's a reason why. As it stands, our NHS is knackered, basically. And if you have an urgent mental health crisis and you present yourself at the NHS, they might say, well, we'll give you an appointment in 2 months, by which point it's too late, often, all right? But Mind, i.e. a private company, can maybe see you that day. And that's why we're trying to raise money. Let's please save some lives. JustGiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. Right, OK, well, look, OK. Let's move on now. Let's get to this week's challenge. In the last few weeks, I've landed an aeroplane. I've done a loop-the-loop in an aeroplane, actually. And once again, this week, I've been flying. Check this out. Oh, OK. Wow. It's a lovely day for it, isn't it? I must say. Welcome to the latest instalment of Challenge Christys with me, Christys. And here we are. We're in Basingstoke. There's quite a lot going on here, really. It's one of those places like a Hollywood Bowl over there, an aqua park as well. So maybe it's time to slosh around a few water slides. But let's find out, shall we? Oh, thank you very much. Oh, it's a posh envelope this week. We normally have the tatty white one. Someone's gone up in the world. Let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Right, OK. Indoor skydiving. It's time to see whether or not I can fly. Right, OK, so this must be the holding pen. And who are you?
Yeah, I'm Harry, mate. I'm going to be your instructor today.
Nice to meet you. I'm
nice
Patrick.
To meet you.
Now, some people have said that I'm unteachable. So how do you feel about that?
OK, I like a challenge. Not
Good.
Gonna lie.
Good.
Yeah,
OK, good. Well, it's called Challenge Christys. Maybe it's going to be Challenge Harry. So there we go. And yes, well, what happens now then? Do you have to show me the ropes?
Yeah. If you just sit down, mate. We haven't got too much time to get on with this. Right. So
OK, yes.
So we're going to start with all of the hand signals. You need to know these hand signals, or there's no way that we can actually communicate in there. Can you tell me what this hand signal is, please?
Patrick, you're number one. You're the greatest I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah, OK, you might like to think that, Patrick. This actually means chin up. Want that one? You know what that one is?
Peace, brother.
Not quite. No.
Fine.
So straight fingers.
Straight fingers.
And straight legs.
Straight legs. Straight fingers, straight legs.
Yeah, we've got that one.
This one, bunny ears.
Yeah, really close. No, this is bend your legs.
Bend your legs.
So we know you got straighten your fingers.
Straight fingers.
You straighten your legs.
Yeah.
When I bend my fingers, you bend your legs.
This is skydiving and not like a sign language course, isn't it?
No, yeah, it's a bit of both. And there's one more that you need to show me if you don't like it and you'd like to exit the tunnel at any point. You know what that one is? Yeah, a good old kick and scream, point towards the door. That's the classic. I will get the message and I'll get you out.
You know that stuff.
Yeah. The official signal being a big double thumbs down. Okay,
big double
that makes
thumbs
it nice
down.
and clear to me that you want to get out. Yeah, big old thumbs down. Okay, does that all make sense?
It all makes perfect sense, mate. Yeah,
fantastic.
Perfect sense. Right, so I think it's time for me to get suited and booted. So we're looking forward to this because obviously, as you can see, Harry's suit before looked like the real deal, didn't it? You look really cool. I mean, skydiving is cool. It's all about looking cool. So, where's the suit then, Harry?
I've got this suit for you right here, mate.
Yeah, good stuff.
Specially requested by Holly for you, actually.
Oh, brilliant. Holly's great, isn't she?
Yeah. She's done you solid, mate.
Good
look at
stuff. That's
It's one of our Wonder Woman superhero suits. Yeah.
It's a Wonder Woman super. I don't know what's more offensive, mate, the Wonder Woman or the extra large.
It's just the suit you're going to have to wear, I'm afraid, Patrick. It's all we've got for you, mate.
Right. OK, well, let's try and get it on, shall we? Thank you very much, Harry, and to a lesser extent, Holly. So, right, unzip Wonder Woman from the front, clearly, every man's dream, and I think you just step into it. So I wonder what I look like as Wonder Woman. Right, get in, put it in there like this. It's quite roomy, actually.
Yeah, it's good. We want a loose fit, you know, don't want it too tight, don't want to be restricted.
No. Right, OK, here we go. Good stuff. Do you have any other suits out of interest?
Oh, yeah, we got loads of normal ones that I could have given you.
Right, loads of normal ones, yeah. Any other kind of superhero ones?
Yeah, we do, actually. We've got quite a cool Iron Man suit.
An Iron Man?
Yeah.
Didn't think that Iron Man was maybe a bit more appropriate for me.
No, I thought Wonder Woman would suit you really well, actually, mate. Yeah. And then, I don't know, if Holly wants the Iron Man one, maybe Holly can have the Iron Man.
I suppose Holly gets what Holly wants.
Yeah.
Hey Patrick, hello mate. If you're calling about your rash,
I told you, don't worry about it, mate. That's
It's not, James, it's not about the rash. There isn't a rash. And if there was, it'd be clearing up on its own by now anyway. So, no, I'm at the. We're on camera, mate. We're just at the iFly indoor skydiving, right? Which I believe you set up for me.
Don't worry about it. I've been down there, checked it all out. The woman that runs it says it's fine. They haven't had a bad accident down there for...
Yeah, OK, fine. But this is just I've called you bluff here, mate, because I thought you'd say that, and I went down to reception. They said they'd never heard of you. So there we go. Are you aware that, like, when you do it, you have to fall face first into the abyss?
Yeah, it's all about arching your back. Make sure you... Look, I've done this 1,000 times. Did it at a different place. OK, fair enough. But everywhere I go, they say to me, look, mate, no professionals. But what they do say is even an idiot can do it. So that's when I thought of you.
Right, good. You know, there's like a big fan at the top and stuff, and I just think if I get shredded, so does your career at the end of the day.
I'm not worried about that.
Right, so I think it's probably tunnel time, is it, Harry?
Yes, it is, mate. This is the space that we're getting into. Yeah.
Oh, my... What the heck, mate? No one said anything about this.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that, mate. Yeah, there's just a bit of a gap. We've got a nice strong net to stand on for you two.
Is it nice and strong? Don't jump on it, you nutter. Right. Okay, so what? This is weird. This is really weird. Have another look at that. It's funny because actually what most people, or no one will be able to see, is now how nervous you are, Joe, about this, which I'm actually, in fact, hey, there we go, have a bit of that, mate. Oh, hey, there you go. Right, OK. Talk me through it.
Yeah, OK, so I'm going to have you start off stood in that door there.
Yeah.
OK, and then before we get in, I'll have you stretched out so you're pretty much in your body position anyway, so you have your arms up above you in the wind. Yeah, exactly. So then all I'm going to get you to do is lean forwards, like you were going to fall flat on your face.
So just plonk down.
Yeah, just plonk down. Yeah,
into the abyss.
Face into the abyss.
Well, I think we can all agree that wasn't Patrick's finest moment. He thinks it's all over, but it's not. We've got another surprise in store for Patrick. He's about to go all the way up.
So that's another challenge Christys in the can. Mastered it yet again, didn't I? Wonder Woman, eat your heart out. But Harry, how was that, mate?
Well, do you want an honest opinion?
Yeah, we're all about honesty, transparency, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen worse, but not very often, and generally when people are trying to fly badly. So, you know, you're alive, you have all four limbs. I'd say that's a success.
That's a win.
Considering what you were like when you were in there, to be honest, I am counting this as a win.
OK, good stuff. Well, look, thank you very much. I must say I have an absolutely great time here at iFly Indoor Skydiving. Harry, you're a legend. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much for coming,
Cheers.
Patrick. Pleasure meeting you, mate.
Good stuff. I mean, I think we can all agree I've looked better. Well, that was a lot of fun, obviously, wasn't it? But if you're listening on GB News Radio, then you can watch that challenge right now if you go on YouTube as well, of course, or Facebook and on Twitter. You can't miss us, people. You can't miss us. But I think you'll all agree that I was absolutely brilliant at skydiving. Yeah, there you go. Just like I was brilliant at boxing until I got knocked out, show jumping, fell off the horse, Irish dancing, couldn't dance. Lawnmower racing, ended up in A&E. And everything else that I've done for the last few months, I've been great. I've been absolutely great. But I did get a tiny bit of help from a guy called Harry. And I'm delighted to say that Harry joins me now, I believe. Yes, there he is. Good stuff. Harry, thank you. How are you, first and foremost?
Oh, very well. Thank you, Patrick. Nice to see you.
So I've got, obviously, a long and fertile career in skydiving, haven't I?
Yes, 100%. I've actually put in a really good word for my manager. So if you fancy giving up your day job and coming down and being an instructor, got a slot for you, mate.
Don't say that, because if the boss is listening, all of a sudden he sounds like I've got other options, you know, and it's any excuse to move me on, let's be honest. I'm amazed it hasn't happened yet, actually. But just sell it to the viewers and listeners, because that was a really great experience. I mean, it's weird, right? It is weird, but it's a great experience. So you've basically got, like, a massive kind of pit in the ground with a load of fans. Just how does it work?
So we've got 4 big fans at the top of the chamber, and they sort of suck all the air up. And obviously what you see is that middle chamber where we do all the flying, but there's lots of empty space around the building that channels the air back round to the centre. And, you know, as it comes up, you get into your little glass wind tunnel there, you do some flying. It's very cool.
That hand movement normally has to be done after the watershed, Harry. But anyway, that's fine. But yes, and you actually do real skydiving because well, not real. We have real skydiving. Can I call it that? I don't want to offend the skydiving community, right? But one thing I was concerned about, of course, was that I might look ridiculous, and obviously, thankfully, that didn't happen. Clearly, I think
wasn't the case.
What we can all
you look
agree
fantastic,
is that I kept my dignity throughout. But how does it compare to real skydiving? Because I've never done real skydiving. So, but you have, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It compares very well. You know, it's the closest thing that you're going to get to doing a skydive without actually jumping out of a plane. It's exhilarating. It feels exactly like it would if you were to do a skydive. So anyone interested in seeing if they would enjoy skydiving, come and try flying in the tunnel. Come do some indoor skydiving, so you can see if you'd
yes.
like it.
And where exactly is it they can do it, Harry?
In Basingstoke, our centre just down the road. We've also got some places in Milton Keynes and Manchester as well, and all around the world. We've got loads of tunnels dotted around here and there.
And just the name of the company quickly?
I Fly.
I Fly. Good lad. All right, Harry, thank you very much, mate. And cheers for being such a good teacher. I must say, I literally couldn't have done it without you. Fantastic stuff. I must say, I really, really enjoyed that. I think I'm just going to go to the panel now. Will, have you ever been held from behind by a man?
Now, there's a question. Who had malicious intent? Yes, probably, but I dealt with them.
OK, all right, good stuff. Francine, you ever been playing around like that?
Well, I haven't. Well, not in that situation anyway. But I have to say, I always thought I'd like to do it, but after watching how you looked, I probably wouldn't.
Well, you were just a bit...
And do you know something? I have heard that it makes you dribble. Is that
I
true?
did. I was dribbling, but that's just because of how fit Harry is.
Right, OK.
Right, OK. So I've done some brilliant challenges over the last few months, and my team have told me that there are some great ones planned for the next few weeks, but I'm never happy. I always want more. That's my problem. I've got a massively addictive personality, and it's a huge problem. But anyway, there we go. And that's where you come in, OK? You lovely lot. If you've ever got an idea for Challenge Christys, please email me. It's patrick@gbnews.uk. Seriously, these challenges come from you. I think people sitting here think, you know, I've got a team of producers out there who just come up with this themselves. No, people suggest this stuff to me, and I actually go and do it. So it's patrick@gbnews.uk. And if you can help set it up for me, well, to be honest with you, that would be great, actually. The truth is that we can't be bothered to arrange it, so if you can just do it for us, that would be magnificent. So what are you waiting for, OK? Because you could get to meet me. I know. I might even bring Will if you're lucky. Anyway, it's time for a break now, but don't go away because I'm going to be back in a few minutes with news of the psycho seagulls. That's right, you can't move for psychotic seagulls these days who are terrorising a North Wales family. I'll tell you about the mum who's regretting buying a cheap brand of toilet roll. And, of course, it is as painful as it sounds. And it's an extra special edition of Dog of the Week. I mean, seriously, later, I've been so up for this. Since we started this show, we did Dog of the Week. Every single week, we're trying to rehome a rescue dog. Oh, my days. Honestly, this one, you're not going to want to miss it. We've got some, I'd go as far as to say, breaking news about one of our rescue dogs. So find out how good it is very, very shortly. I will see you in 2. We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio.
On digital. Absolutely everywhere.
We don't talk down to you.
We embrace all voices with honest and civilised conversation.
We are not part of the establishment. We're one of you.
And we're only getting started.
Join us on GB News,
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel. Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. Welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Now, we've got lots on the way between now and 9 o'clock. A gimp suit and psycho seagulls as well. In this week's edition of Round Your Parts, the very best bits of local news, OK? And don't you dare forget, of course, Dog of the Week is bigger and it's better and it's badder than ever before. And we've got a special surprise for you that you will not want to miss. But first, though, it's time for the news headlines. I mean, how on earth can he top this? But time for the news headlines with Simon Pusey.
Thanks, Patrick. I'm Simon Pusey, and this is GB News. Detectives say a serial sex attacker who drugged and assaulted straight men could have attacked many more victims who may be too embarrassed to come forward. 35-year-old Luis da Silva Neto was found guilty of spiking 2 men with drugs before raping one and sexually assaulting the other. He used the date rape drug GHB in separate incidents last November and December in Middle Barton in Oxfordshire. Da Silva Neto, who's from London, will be sentenced next Thursday. The Conservative whip has been suspended from Chris Pincher while the MP is being investigated. A formal complaint was made to Parliament's watchdog after he was accused of groping 2 men at a private members' club while drunk on Wednesday. He resigned last night, saying he'd embarrassed himself and other people after drinking too much. GB News understands British authorities have plans in place for the possible return of a convicted jihadist and alleged member of the so-called Islamic State group. Ain Davis, part of the execution squad known as the Beatles, could be deported within weeks as he nears the end of his prison sentence in Turkey. Davis, from West London, was jailed for terrorism offences in 2017. According to reports, Turkish officials say he's scheduled to be released on the 9th of July, but could be arrested and face a criminal investigation when he returns to the UK. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has appealed against a decision to extradite him to the US. He's wanted by American authorities over documents leaked in 2010 and 2011 linked to the Iraq and the Afghanistan wars. The Home Secretary Priti Patel has approved his extradition last month. 2 British men have been charged with mercenary activities in the separatist region of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. That's according to the Russian news agency TASS. It's after Russian missile strikes killed at least 21 people, including a 12-year-old boy, in the port city of Odessa. Officials say a residential block was flattened while people were asleep. Earlier, authorities confirmed 41 people had been rescued from a site where 152 people lived. The Kremlin has denied targeting civilians. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Moscow is still focusing its firepower in the east of the country.
The situation in Donbass remains the harshest. The fire superiority of the occupiers is still felt very much. They simply took everything from their reserves to hit us in the Luhansk region, in the Donetsk region. I'm grateful to everyone who defends our positions in such conditions. It's true heroism.
Police have warned their lives could be put at risk if protests go ahead at the British Formula One Grand Prix this weekend. Northamptonshire police say they've received credible intelligence that a group are planning to invade the track on race day. A record crowd of 142,000 people are expected at Silverstone on Sunday. Local authorities fear the event could be disrupted. TV, online and DAB+ radio, this is GB News. Now it's back to Patrick and the Friday Night Feast.
Right, well, we've all heard the phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And, well, here's a cricket team in Kent who really test that theory to the absolute ruddy limit. The Motley Crew were founded...
You're on the Motley! Up the Motley!
Up the Motley! I think they're here now. So, they were founded in 1993, and would you believe it, they didn't win a single game for 29 years, OK? But that all changed recently, and everyone who's watching us on telly can see now this is clearly it's a game of cricket played on what looks like a football pitch, to be fair. The dogs are out. The joy, the unbridled joy. It's like the Ashes in 05 all over again, isn't it, when they beat local pub team, the Three Horseshoes. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the very best of British. And viewers can see footage of that, of course, that pitch invasion. Players, dogs, it had the absolute lot of it. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined in the studio right now by Captain Tom Browning. Who are you? Which one are you? Tom?
I'm here, yeah.
Good, right, so you're
over here, mate,
I'm starting to realise now why I haven't won a game for 29 years. The rest of his team, Jordan Griffiths. Yes, he's over the other one. There he is, he's over there, right. We've got Joe Owen. Yay, there he is. And we've got, is it John O'Sanford? Yes,
the one, right?
Absolutely fantastic stuff. OK, all right, lads, let's take it now. Sorry, for no apparent reason whatsoever.
What's this guy? Why have you got no clothes on?
So this is our butler in the buff for the evening. And do you all order a pint, did you?
Oh, we did indeed, mate, yeah. That would be lovely.
Well, there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. He's called Blade, by the way.
Hello, Blade. Nice to meet you. Cheers for the beer, lad. The Motley.
Do you ever play cricket, Blade?
Cheers, Blade. I've played a couple of times.
Yeah.
I bet
you've
batted a few sixes, haven't you?
You won't keep your clothes on when you play for Motley, mate.
OK.
Oh, it depends how hot it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, yeah, you clearly don't... Yeah,
Thank you very much. We'll be joined by you later on for an actual proper interview. But I tell you what, Blade's really pulled his finger out here. Well, don't say it. Don't say it. Right, lads. So, don't say it. So, start with you, the captain. Now, behave.
Yeah.
Why did it take you 29 years to win a cricket match?
I'm not sure. I think we're just terrible.
Right. It does look that way, to be fair.
It does. We're not terrible, but it's our batting that normally lets us down.
Right.
Our bowling's and the beers, yeah.
Right.
So we normally start in the pub and finish in the pub.
So you actually drink before you start playing cricket?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course we do. Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah, fair.
Of course we do, yeah.
So talk me through this win. I'll go for you. Is it Jono? Yeah. Cracking shirt, by the way. We've got for those of us
TV.
For those of us, clearly. For those of us who are listening on radio, you've done yourselves a favour. So you talk me through the actual win then. Who did you win?
We beat the Three Horseshoes, yeah. A team we play every year. It's a local
fixture. And was it just a sense of unbridled joy?
Yeah.
It
was
euphoria.
Yeah,
the best way to describe it. It was madness.
Ecstasy. It was ecstasy.
Yeah.
Ecstasy.
Right.
It was like, imagine taking a
best drug you possibly could, but
Okay.
higher.
Right, gosh, wow.
After playing cricket.
After playing cricket, of course. That's all good. So do you guys play in like a park? Do you? So where do you play?
We don't.
They're just a.
We don't have a home ground. We have 4 or 5 games a year, all organised, but well, at the minute by me. It used to be by my dad.
Big shout out to Steve Browning.
Yeah, we got the old TV Browning.
Right, good stuff.
And he's passed the armband down to me last year or the year before.
And do you think you'll pass it on to your kids as well? This legacy, you know.
I've got to have a kid first. So
right.
In a minute, is that the question? But
touch the
nerve.
Yeah,
maybe.
But yes.
Nerves, but
so who does what? So what's your role in the team?
Obviously captain.
You're captain.
I play wicket keeper, a bit of bowling.
Okay, good.
Not very good batsman.
Okay, fine. So wait, but if you're wicket keeping, how can you bowl?
Because we swap the gloves around.
Makes sense. Yeah, fair enough.
I suppose frontline bowler.
Yeah, very good bowler. Jordan's a very good bowler.
Bit of seam up.
And he's a very good batsman as well.
Good stuff. So you're basically
one of the better batsmen anyway out of the team.
Okay, yourself.
I just make the field look pretty.
Yeah, of course. Well, any place, any time. Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, mate?
A bit of all-rounder.
Bit of an all-rounder.
He's a brilliant bowler.
Yeah?
Good bowler. He won't tell you that, but he's a brilliant bowler. Yeah.
So just to be honest, so I used to play a bit of cricket. I can't anymore. I'm always here, right? But it is actually. It seems like a great. So you guys are obviously really good mates, then, right? You obviously are really good mates.
Yeah.
And you know, what does it mean to you? You know, to go and play with this lot? Is it a good sense of kind of community?
I think when you first play, you kind of don't really take it in. But I think the moment when everyone knows you're so close to winning, it's like.
Was it so you didn't win a game for 29 years, and then did they bat first? No, they
always bat. They always bat first. Because our batting's so terrible. If we went to batting first, then the game would be over in maybe 2 hours. So we always put them into bat first.
You guys must be absolutely awful.
We are. 29 years, mate. It's 29 years of awfulness.
I wouldn't say we're awful. We just I think we always have the mentality that we're going to go into it losing.
But our optimism always keeps us in the game. Every year we want to win.
We always go out there to have a good time, have a drink, spend the day with our mates. You know, it's never been.
So what score did they put on the doors?
They put 134.
Off how many overs?
Of 30. So the bowling this year was very tight. That's where we.
And then talk me through this. Start with you. Talk me through the start of the second innings, right? Okay, fair enough. You talk me through the start of the second innings.
Well, we had Groom. Dan Groom went out there and smashed it. If it weren't Dan Groom, big shout out to Dan Groom. He got 76 runs.
Oh, so he's basically taking the edge off the whole thing, really, hasn't he?
I think the game plan was go out and not get out. That was the
ideally.
Don't just stay in.
It's always the game plan,
right?
But sometimes.
But I think this time we had the mental.
Well, we had the plan of go out there and get 14 runs each and we'd win it.
I think where we kept the bowling so tight when we was bowling, because normally people are hitting 230, 240 off us in 30 overs, but where we kept the bowling so tight, and they only managed it 134.
Right.
We actually, when we come to bat, we actually felt like we might
confident
actually edge it here.
Yeah.
So
a chance.
And is it almost a badge of honour to be? I think it's fair to say the world's worst cricket team.
Well, I don't know about the world's worst. If there's anyone out there that thinks they're worse, then we're happy to challenge them.
Anyone that thinks they're worse than us.
Happy to challenge them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do a thing called...
We can't be the world's worst, because we've won a game. I'm sure there's people out there that still ain't won a game, is there?
1 in 29 years, mate, right? 1 in 29 years.
That's still one. Look where we are now, mate. We're on TV.
To be fair... All right, I think that's enough. Well done, lads, I must say. It's been great. That's more than enough, OK? Right, more than enough. Thank you very much, everybody, for that. And well done as well to the Motley. Good. Well done to the Motley for their first win in 29 years. Couldn't leave it, could you? Which is probably why I keep going out. Anyway, right, OK, look.
A good time, not a long time.
Yeah, well, you're off now, so there we go. Right, it's the Motley. OK, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on. We're going to do post-person Pat. Take it easy. All right. Come on. Right, we're back on the telly, Motley. Just get off, all right? Please, for the love of God. Of all the ways that I thought I'd get sacked, I didn't realise it'd be this. Anyway, right, this is Postperson Pat, where I read out some of your messages and the controversial topics of Boris calling Putin's invasion of Ukraine, quote, toxic masculinity, and police banned from a Pride event, and that's rattled your cages, basically. So earlier in the show, we discussed whether more women should be in high office as well, after Boris Johnson said that Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if Putin was a woman, which is just a weird thing to say. So Terry's been on. Thank you very much, Terry. Terry says, yes, let women run the country. We need a major reset in this mad period, and men seem to have lost the plot by not being decisive enough. So, yes, give women a chance. Terry, OK, fair enough, that's your view. Ray's been on. He says, why not have both a man and a woman sharing power for each country? Total harmony. Now, forgive me, Ray, but the phrase is total harmony and a man and woman trying to coexist together. It doesn't always work. Anyway, right. You've also been in touch about the call from Pride organisers for uniformed police officers not to attend tomorrow's parade. Now, Georgina's been on. Georgina says, if uniformed officers are not welcome, what happens if a fight breaks out? Exactly this, Georgina, exactly this, OK? If a fight breaks out, someone is mugged or another crime is committed, would they not have welcomed them? And that's exactly what I said. Georgina, absolutely cracking point. It's nonsensical. And also, no one, in my opinion, no one in this country should be able to dictate where and when a uniformed police officer can be. But anyway, after the break, I'm going to have a good rummage around your parts. Yes, that's right, you heard it. I'll tell you why a woman in Manchester won't be buying cheap toilet roll anymore. And, of course, there's the story of the man in Henley who might not be too popular with his wife. And next, of course, we'll meet, oh, my gosh, a huge celebrity, an absolute megastar, ladies and gentlemen, a household name, someone that you will not be disappointed by. I mean, goodness gracious me, I tell you what, this guy is a massive guest. I will see you in 2. We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio.
On digital. Absolutely everywhere.
We don't talk down to you.
We embrace all voices with honest and civilised conversation.
We are not part of the establishment. We're one of you.
And we're only getting started.
Join us on GB News,
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel. Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood, and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night Feast. And there we go. They say never work with children, animals or drunk village cricketers. So there we are. Sorry about all of that. But anyway, you hear a lot these days, don't you, about people having second jobs to earn a bit of cash. Cost of living crisis. Tell me about it, OK? Well, how about this for a side hustle? 27-year-old salesman and fitness fanatic, it's Blade Siddiqui. He earns an extra 10 grand a year being A butler in the buff. You'll have seen him coming in and out of the show this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's after the COVID pandemic led to a shortage of nude valets when venues closed. Who knew, obviously? But you obviously have already seen him. Already, haven't you? He's been serving us drinks all night. He's an absolute legend for us. It's a miracle that we could book him on a Friday night, as he's inundated normally. But here he is. Blade, how are you, man? Good, man.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Absolute pleasure. So talk to me about... So your side hustle is this?
Yes, yeah, butler in the buff. We host 10 parties, birthday parties, in a range of settings. Yeah, it can be quite interesting.
Can I just say, for everyone at home, because this isn't smell-o-vision, you are, considering you're wearing no clothes, you are the nicest smelling man I've ever met.
Thank you.
Is it Boss Bottled?
No, it's
what
Gucci.
Is it?
It's Gucci, I have to say.
It's Gucci.
It's
Gucci. OK,
but
good
it's
stuff.
All part of the presentation.
All part of the presentation. I must say, it's absolutely... Right, so, when you get to these events, what do you do? You just walk around, you just serve food and drink?
So generally I'm there to be a surprise for the birthday woman or bride-to-be in most circumstances. So yeah, we do make a bit of an entrance, but generally it is serving drinks, playing a few drinking games and lifting the energy of the event, or whichever it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And let's be honest, I mean, you must enjoy it, yeah?
Yeah, no, it's good fun.
Probably not as much as them, to be fair.
No, you never know what to expect. You never know what to expect.
Now, bear in mind the fact that we have just had on a bunch of quite well inebriated cricketers, it's fair to say. I was going to say it's a family show, but, you know, I think that ship's out. Tell me some stories.
Stories. So, I mean, we are on air, but I mean, generally, there is a boundary that we have to keep to. I've been doing it for 5 years, so we've got plenty of stories.
You've seen it all come and go.
Seen it all. A lot of the time, we actually have the guests telling their stories. There was one occasion whereby myself and another butler had to race to lick the chocolate.
OK, good stuff. Right, OK. I don't know. That's just not. But do you just wing it on the day, do you?
Yeah. Well, I suppose I kind of gauge what the vibe is of the event.
This is great.
So we gauge what the vibe is and kind of play the games accordingly.
OK, all right, fair enough. Have you ever turned up when someone's not wanted to do that? Have you ever had it where you turned up and you've given it the big one and they've all just been like, nah, this isn't right?
Rarely. We've had a few scares whereby someone's thought maybe I was a stripper and the bride-to-be didn't want that.
Right.
But no.
What do you think gave her that impression?
Well, I mean, the lack of clothes might have done it. Yeah. But no, never had an event where I wasn't welcome.
But can I ask you? I'm not surprised. You're certainly very welcome here, mate. But can I just ask you to just tell me a little bit about? Do you find there's a stigma attached to it at all? Because, look, mate, I mean, for full disclosure, we met a bit behind the scenes. You're an absolutely top bloke, mate. You're a really nice guy. You're clearly very, very smart. You clearly got a lot going on for you. Do you ever find there is a bit of a stigma when it comes to this?
Yeah, no, it can be. It can be a bit of a stigma, and some people don't really know what the job role is or what we actually do. But, you know, we do keep it professional, and a lot of people just don't really know what it's all about, to be fair, until they've had one.
I'm being asked in my ear now by a female producer if you can continue to flex your pecs. So there he is. That's it. I have to lose the strap and do it again. There it is. If you're listening on radio, you're missing out. There you go. How often do you work out?
Yeah, so generally we work out about 5 days a week. I try to once in the morning, once in the evening. But a lot of it's down to nutrition, I'd say.
So the six-pack starts in the kitchen?
Pretty much, yeah.
See, mine's in the fridge, and that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really,
and in the bedroom, sleeping.
Of course, sleeping. I imagine you sleep quite a lot. Yes, absolutely. Now, there's some footage of me, so I just want you to raise. Now, I think it's important at this point to say that Blade is not a... Oh, yes, this is me practicing for the Dream Boys, right? So I am going to be an officer and a gentleman, loosely, I suppose. Now, the blokes next to me there are very much in the zone, it's fair to say, of which I am not. And, I mean, with me, it's basically the Nightmare Boys, isn't it? But would you ever do anything like that?
I've considered it, although I think butlering's kind of the line for me for now. I've steered clear from the stripping side of things for the moment, as do a lot of butlers.
Did you find it... Do you girlfriends find it hard? You just don't.
I'm kind of more engrossed in my work than looking for, serious relationships. Really.
So you're
a workaholic, yeah. So
You've just got a really great life, haven't you, mate?
Well, I'm really available on the weekend, you see. So.
Right, OK, yeah, OK, fair enough, fair enough. Well, OK, anyone ever made any outrageous demands for, you know, because you come in and you do one of a, yeah, you know.
I have actually had a few outrageous demands and offers, which I have had to decline.
Right,
because it wasn't within the parameters of my job role.
Right.
So I have.
OK, good stuff. Now, in your opinion, and I've always wanted to do this because we did a thing before as well about, you know, whether or not, you know, men are better at running the world than women, this, that and the other. There's a lot of stereotypes about that. Can I just be honest with you, mate? I think hen do's are wilder than stag do's. Would you agree with that or not?
I would say so, yeah, from what I've seen.
They just lose it, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's anything goes from time to time, really. For them, anyway.
Good stuff. So, right, if people want to book you, I mean, look at this. I mean, we've put him right in the shop window here. If people want to book you, how do they do it?
Yeah, so I work for a company called Butlers in the Buff. They've been going for about 21 years. I'd encourage anyone who is in shape and would like to be within a social environment, making extra money, to give it a go.
Oh, you're actually touting for other people to...
Well, I think it's something that I think a lot more guys should get into. But Butlers in the Buff is the company.
I'd have to go to the gym.
I've got a spare uniform, you know.
Don't tell them that, mate. That lot round there, they'll make me do anything. Right? No, I'm not doing a Challenge Christys like this. It's in my ear already. No, it's not happening. But, mate, can I just say what an absolute pleasure it is to meet you. And good for you, mate. And you've been a tremendous sport this evening. You've come in, served us drinks, you've turned up, we've kept you waiting for ages, and it's fair to say there's a lady called Faye outside who wants your number. Right, OK, so there we go. Thank you very much, mate. Give us your name again.
Blade.
Blade, good lad. All right, fantastic stuff, Blade. Thank you. Yeah, off your pop, mate. Go on. No, stay here. Stay here. Fine, I just thought you could do a walk-off. Anyway, right, OK. Halifax Bank, we're moving on. Halifax Bank are under fire after they said employees can include their pronouns on their badges. Well, dozens of Halifax customers said that they'd closed their accounts after the company tweeted an image of one of their badges with the name Gemma and the pronouns she, her and hers. Well, Halifax have stood by their decision. They say that they want to create a safe and accepting environment, and people who disagree are welcome to close their accounts. Strange way to run a business, if you ask me. The only problem is they've got so much of your money that they can just get away with it, but there they are. So there's only one person who we wanted to talk to about this. And, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Halifax Bank, it's got to be this man. Eventually. It's got to be this man. There he is. Right, good grief. It's Howard, yes, absolutely. It's the man who used to be the face of Halifax. It's Howard Brown. Oh, fantastic. Howard, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you?
Can I just say, right, you were like, well, you are. You're an absolute national treasure. You're a national institution, mate. Do you, like, when your advert first popped up, OK, like, my entire family was just enraptured by it. How did it come about?
Well, thank you very much indeed, Patrick. Can I just firstly say that you look fantastic in those whites, by the way? Basically, I joined Halifax in '99, and within the first couple of months of me joining the bank, they decided to change their advertising campaign, and that they were going to do a new musical style of commercial. So I just basically auditioned purely and simply for fun. I didn't think for one moment that I'd be chosen. And I had two auditions, one in Birmingham, another one in London. And after my second audition, they asked me if they wanted to do it. So I got really excited about it. I didn't know what was going to take place, but within sort of a month of that, I was in South Africa filming my very, very first commercial.
You know what? We can actually show it now. So we've got footage of this is how you burst onto the scene. I know everybody knows you. I know everyone knows who you are. It's Howard Brown. This is, well, I suppose the Halifax man. Take it away.
I'm giving it back to you, babe. Oh, it's the first and last, my extra thing, and the answer to your banking dreams. I'm so hot, so cool, your shining star. See, I'll give you money back with this debit card.
Well, there we go. I mean, look, that was absolutely fantastic. You did a fair few of them, didn't you? But can I ask you, look, there is a news element to this, of course there is, and that is what they're doing at the minute, right, at Halifax, with this pronouns business. And you're Mr. Halifax, you've been the face of this company for so long. Do you agree with what they're doing now?
Do you know what? I'm actually quite saddened by it, to be honest with you, if I'm honest, because the first priority for the bank should always be its customers. And it just appears to me that Halifax have sort of lost their way a little bit on this. And when I think about the amount of customers that are waking up and being incredibly upset by this, and I just think it's unnecessary. I think they've just lost their way a little bit. And I'm kind of hoping that somebody is going to take a step back and have a look at this and say, do you know what, we've made a little bit of a mistake by this, and that we should, we should sort of basically reach out to our customers, because throughout the time that I was in, I mean, I spent 10 years promoting our accounts and going out and spending time with our customers. And the most important thing was to make sure that you made sure that our customers felt comfortable when they came into branches, and that we serviced all of their needs. And I think that has to be the priority for any financial organisation. And sadly, I think Halifax have just missed the boat on that one at the moment. And it's strange, because normally Halifax were, the people's bank. They were a friendly bank, and they do some great stuff for charity. But on this one, I think they've got it just a little bit wrong.
No, I really appreciate you coming out and saying that, actually, mate, because, it mustn't be easy for you, because clearly you worked there for a very, very long time, and let's be honest, you were front and centre there of a national advertising campaign. And, I imagine that's opened certain doors for you going forward. So it must be quite tricky for you to speak out against, that particular issue, really. Just in a wider sense, do you think it's all gone a bit too far, this now? Because if Halifax just hadn't have done this, I don't think anyone in the UK would have ever thought, oh, they're anti-trans, or they're anti-pronoun, they're nothing. It's the fact that they did it and then went, well, you can close your account if you don't like it. They've kind of mugged themselves off a bit here, haven't they, I think?
Yeah, do you know what? I was really surprised when I heard those comments, and to be honest, I didn't actually believe them. I thought it was something that somebody put out as a bit of a joke. But when I got confirmation on it, and I was, to be honest, really absolutely astounded, because, as I said before, our focus has always been on our customers and giving them value for money. And looking after all their banking needs. So I was really surprised that somebody would take that attitude, that if you're not happy with the new changes, you're welcome to close your account, because that's not what we were about, Halifax. That's not what we were about as an organisation. So I'm very surprised by that. I mean, I know that there are changes, and I know there's been quite a few changes, but that doesn't seem to be like a Halifax decision to me, because we always classed ourselves as a bit of a family. And we would like to bring our customers into that family. And so it's a little bit surprising that they've gone down this route, I have to say.
Again, I really do appreciate your honesty. And the fact is, mate, you do speak for the vast majority of the British public, right? And look, I'm not going to drag us into some kind of trans discussion here or anything like that. I know ultimately that's kind of a bit what this is about. I'm not going to take us down that route, mate. That's not what you're on for. But, the fact is, it's roughly about something like 0.3% of the population that really would be affected by this. And so if you're then making an entire workforce, and then I suppose your entire customer base, I suppose you would say, kind of get on board with this, it does seem a little bit disproportionate, doesn't it?
It's a little bit strange, really, because I think where people are making a bit of a mistake, it should be just about people per se, everybody included. I don't think we should be individualising people at all. I think it should be just the collective. So, to introduce name badges with pronouns. I mean, obviously that's their choice, but it shouldn't be about that. It just should be about the customer and how we can service the customer's needs. And that should be the priority for any financial organisation. It actually should be the priority for any organisation, because we all know that our customers are the lifeblood of any organisation.
Right now, Howard, look, I think you've done a fantastic job here, and it's been great to have you on, and certainly as well at rather short notice and confusing notice as well in certain situations there, of course. But thank you very much for making the time for us. Can I just ask, mate, there's something that's really bothering me, Howard, mate. It's really bothering me.
Go on, then.
I can't quite remember one of the more famous lines of the songs that you sung on one of those first adverts, mate. I can't. It's escaped me.
Maybe I'm a banker who's completely obsessed. I've got a little something that's bound to impress. This current account pays a higher amount of extraordinary interest.
Oh, you legend! You legend! You absolute legend! What's that, Howard? Sorry, mate, what was that?
Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, yes! Oh, you love to see it, Howard. You absolute legend. Look, mate, thank you so much. Like I said as well, apologies for a little bit of confusion earlier in terms of what time you're going to be on the show. But, Howard, much appreciated, mate. And look, I'm sure this won't be the last time that we will see you, but great stuff. I'm going to bring the panel back in now, OK? Will Geddes joins me now. Will, how do you feel about this pronouns business?
Confusing.
What are yours, by the way? Sorry, just before we start.
Me.
That's not a shock, is it?
Me, myself and I.
Me, myself and I. Yeah.
As in the very famous 90s song. By, I can't remember.
No.
But the pronouns thing, no. It's just window dressing.
OK, well, your view?
I agree with Will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You think it's a bit of a...
Because
High five.
I need to turn to you, but I can't.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I can't get there.
This is Francine, by the way, who is so tiny, right, that she has to be helped on and off the stool that we've provided for her. I know. No, it's great stuff. But look, seriously, though, do you think... I don't want to ask too much of a personal question. Have you got kids?
I've got
kids.
Yeah.
So how would you feel about the whole kind of like the pronouns stuff going forward for them? I mean, have you seen something with them? Do they come back from school and say like, oh, you know, we've just been told about... Are they very woke is what I'm saying, you know?
No, not really, to be honest. I do think we're all very brainwashed nowadays, and I think that's scary. But no, they're actually okay. But
pretty sound.
Pretty sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with you as a mum, to be fair. Fantastic. Right, OK, we've got to rattle through this now. We're going round your parts, you heard, where we dig deep to find some of the absolute gems of local news. And we start with a very worrying story from Somerset, where a couple were terrified after they were approached by a person in a full gimp suit. That's right, Lewis Webb. Lewis Webb says he and his girlfriend ran away when the individual appeared from nowhere. Amazingly, this isn't the first time that this has happened. Back in 2019, a woman said that she was confronted by a man who was grunting and breathing heavily while wearing the same gimp suit. That's right, people, it's Return of the Gimp. Anyway, Will, where were you on the early hours? Where were you on the early hours of Sunday morning?
Well, I'm not prepared to disclose that.
No.
Although, is that anywhere near a parachute regiment barracks or anything like that?
Why?
I'm going to get so much hate from all my para friends. But yeah. Gimp suit, classic.
To be fair, that might actually work well in a war zone if we sent all of our troops into battle wearing full gimp suits.
Yeah,
I think they'd be like, what the living heck is going on here? But Francine, obviously, I saw you were in one of those on Saturday night, were you or not? No.
Well, don't disclose that to everyone,
no.
please.
Well, you go on a weekend, it's your own business.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. But how scary? No, that is
To be fair, it is sinister.
I'd be really terrified if I got approached by a man in a gimp suit. I would.
Yeah.
I'd quite like it as well.
Well, he's here to bring him in. Bring him in. OK.
No, I would be terrified.
No, fair enough. I mean, there is...
I'd be terrified as well, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the gimp would be dead.
I wouldn't if you were with me, though, Will. I'd be very safe.
That's it.
OK.
I don't know about that, Francine.
From a scary man to a scary bird, that's right. And a family... You got a phobia of birds?
A terrible phobia of birds. Honestly, I have a real problem with it. Like, I was invented long ago.
I got a phobia, but only the high maintenance.
I don't like anything that flies.
Will Geddes going full Will Geddes there. Absolutely. You just can't turn it off, can you? No. All right, OK. So, sorry about this, because this is going to be awful for you now, Francine, but...
this is scary.
A family in North Wales have become virtual prisoners in their own home after being targeted by psycho seagulls. That's right, everybody. Nikki Baker says that the birds launched coordinated attacks on her and her family, and they have resorted to using a broom and a walking stick to protect themselves. So it's very hard for me to keep a straight face just thinking of the idea of seagulls coordinating an attack. But there we go. Nikki says that the birds are psychos. Apparently, seagulls are notoriously aggressive and will basically defecate and vomit on anyone who they see as a threat to their nesting sites. Absolutely. Will, you ever crossed any psycho birds?
Covered that already, haven't we?
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Regular on this show, Aidan McGee definitely has.
Oh, Aidan McGee, I couldn't even go into his league.
No, nobody can. Anyway, Francine, you can often get yourself into a flap, can you?
Oh, totally. But I can't bear seagulls. I actually cannot bear... You know, I love to walk around Bournemouth Beach, but I can't hold my ice cream. I'm scared to hold an ice cream.
They are actually menacing. Yes. They're little things. I do enjoy the odd clip of a seagull walking into a Greggs and nicking something there, and it's just that with a block of it.
It's terrifying. I don't like birds anyway, so there you go.
All right, well, sometimes with this feature, it's the headline that really catches your eye. Other times, it's a quote in the article that just makes you chuckle. And I'm pleased to say that this story ticks both of those boxes. This headline in the Henley Standard, which we didn't realise was a thing until earlier today, reads, "Remove this tree and you will see my wife undress." Now, there's a promise for you there, isn't there? Flipping heck. When Robert Davies says that if a tree near his house is chopped down, people will be able to see into his bedroom and bathroom. Now, I'm not sure if Robert's wife will be too happy with him, though, after he said, "My wife looks pretty with her clothes on." Quotes now, less so without. Oh. And this is why you love local news, OK? Because everyone in that local area will read that paper and they will know that basically he's called his wife Butters, but there we go. So, Francine, I mean, do you think you... No, I'm not going to read... Whoever writes these, I'm sorry, I'm not going to ask that.
What is it?
Well, they were going to say, do you think you look better with your clothes on or without?
Well, let me just say, I'm going to be honest, very honest here. I could live on a nudist beach. I love
All right, fair enough. We got away with this one, lads.
No, I do. I like being naked. There's something... Maybe I've had too many wines. But this is honesty. I do. I like to just feel... You know, the air...
Liberated.
I like feeling liberated. And I'm not embarrassed of that.
Yeah.
So, no.
Well, this guy obviously has got a problem with his tree. Will, have you ever had a problem with wood?
Never. No complaints.
OK, all right, fair enough. Right, last but certainly not least is the basically kind of salutary tale of why sometimes it doesn't pay to save money, OK, which is just well for me because my bank account looks like the Somme. But a mum who bought some cheap toilet rolls says that it was like wiping her bum with a holly bush. That's right. So Tony Jones, who then obviously naturally sold it to the press, claimed that it felt like she needed ice cubes to ease the pain and the tracing paper.
I like her face in the picture.
Yeah, she looks like she's
had a wipe.
Yeah, in case you're wondering what her face looks like, if you're listening to us on radio, it's just a really miserable woman. Anyway, Will, you ever an issue like that?
Have I ever what?
Had an issue like that at all? No?
An issue.
Because you're out and about, you're a man of nature. You've been in the field.
Yeah, you skip the paper, just...
OK.
Yeah.
Francine, yeah, no.
No, I like it actually very soft, my paper.
Right.
And I think you pay for what you get. I really do.
You do.
And I hate to show my age here, but I remember the times when we used to have tracing paper in the school
toilet.
I
remember that.
And it
Sorry,
was
what?
Tracing paper.
Yeah. It was a really
toilet.
horrible, just like straight
That's
paper.
not a thing.
We did.
Yeah,
We'd have to wipe our bums with tracing paper.
You don't know how good you've got.
I don't know I'm born. I don't know I'm born. Absolutely right. Well, there we go. Well, I've learnt something today. If you're not laughing, you're learning. If you're not laughing, you're learning. Right, anyway, it's time for a break now, but there's loads more to come. I don't know how we're going to fit it all in, but we'll do our best. National treasure. I'm very excited about Dog of the Week. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't you dare move, people. We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio.
On digital. Absolutely everywhere.
We don't talk down to you.
We embrace all voices with honest and civilised conversation.
We are not part of the establishment. We're one of you.
And we're only getting started.
Join us on GB News,
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel. Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood, and join me 9:30 a.m. every weekday for The Briefing, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about what's going on in politics today. I wonder if this is a deal that might need to be like the biscuits in this factory, twice baked. Is there not an opportunity here to win out against the extremes?
Tom Harwood, GB News.
What are you going to do about it?
Things should have been done differently, and they certainly are being done differently.
Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, 9:30 Monday to Friday on GB News.
Where would you like to go?
Just take me to the studio, please, mate. You know where you're going. I've got a show to do. Friday Night Feast on GB News, 7 p.m. And it's like nothing you've ever seen before. We take a different angle on the week's biggest news stories. The viewers and listeners set me some absolutely mad challenges to do. We tried to rehome a rescue dog. And yes, there's some other wacky stuff in there as well. I feel like I could take on the world. Well, that's that. Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys, every Friday, 7 till 9 p.m. on GB News. Be there. Right, OK, good stuff, everybody. It's time now to meet this week's National Treasure. Now, I'm hoping that he'll still have the energy to speak to us after playing tennis for more than 11 hours today in aid of charity. And it's Nick Rogers from Bristol. He's hoping to raise £25,000 for Grief Encounter, which helps individuals obviously suffering from bereavement. A fantastically worthy cause, I'm sure we can all agree. I'm trying to say that Nick joins me now. Nick, are you there? Let's have a look for Nick. Yes, there he is now. OK, National Treasure gets a round of applause on the way in and the way out of time. Yes, well done. Woo! You are this week's National Treasure. Nick, talk to me about what you do. Oh, and your son's, is that your son?
Sweet. Yeah, this is Jensen, my little boy.
Oh, good stuff. So what have you done? You've played tennis for 11 hours?
11 hours and 38 minutes, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm feeling a little tiny bit tired. I'm not going to lie. We started at 6:30 this morning. And the cause or the fundraise which we've done today is something which is quite close to my heart. The charity looks after basically children who have lost a parent, and I lost my mum when I was 13. And trust me, when in 1983, you know, other than a cassette player, you didn't really have a lot to sort of. There wasn't much support. So when I met Chelsea and the charity, it was just an amazing thing they do for kids. So I've been sort of planning this for 2 years with COVID. So basically 41,000 children in the UK lose a parent every year. And I thought, well, let's take 41,000 and naturally turn it into a second. And then we'll play a pretty aggressive game of tennis for 11 hours and 38 minutes, which is what we've done. So...
And just as far as I heard there, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you said that you sadly lost your mum when you were, I think, 13 years old. You said, what was available to you at the time? Because Grief Encounter obviously looks to help people during that bereavement period. And do you think we've come a long way? Is this really why it's so important to you? Because you didn't really feel like you had stuff available for you at the time?
Yeah, no, 100%. You know... It's only now that since I've started talking about this, that I started to open up a couple of little doors in my mind, which I've never thought about before. I never even talked about before. I shut that whole part of my life off. And for me, you know, I remember coming home from school and, you know, being told that unfortunately my mum had died. And then within a couple of days, we were back at school. You know, there was no support. So it was quite a tough time. But, you know, I shut that off. And that's sort of how I dealt with it. And I was lucky I found tennis, you know, and that was what I started to do. And I moved in with, unfortunately, my dad wasn't around. So we moved in with our grandparents. And, you know, within a couple of weeks, I sort of started playing tennis, and I sort of, my whole teen life was being able to just put something, you know, I use that as a catalyst really to help me.
Absolutely. And can I just say, was it Jackson, did you say your son was called?
Jensen.
Jensen, sorry, I misheard you at the start there. Jensen, it's very nice to meet you. How are you?
Good.
Good. Now, what do you think of your daddy, OK? Because he's been doing a lot of great stuff and he's helping people out. Are you very proud of your dad? He's nodding. You can't hear him there. Listen, would you like to play tennis with your dad as well? Is that what you want to do? Good. I'll tell you what.
What would you really like to do?
Playing football.
Oh, you're more of a footballer. There you go. Well, there's more money in it. So there you go. You've raised a smart one there, I'm telling you. Well done, well done. Well, look, just very quickly, how can people donate or just help out very quickly, mate?
Yeah, so if you go on to Just Giving, we got a page which is Nick and Paul's Tennis Marathon. So if anybody would like to drop a donation, that would be amazing.
Good lad. You are this week's national treasure.
Halfway to our target, so.
Oh, good stuff. You are this week's national treasure. Well done, mate. You're an inspiration. Hey, there we go. Fantastic stuff.
Cheers,
and good luck with the football career, Jensen, as well. I'm sure you'll make it. Right now, it's that moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's one of my favourite parts of the show, OK? It's time for Dog of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. Yay, that's right, OK. Now, if you're new to the programme, this is when you try to rehome a rescue dog, and I have got some big news for you. It's coming for you in just a few minutes' time, OK? It's coming for you in just a few minutes' time. We've got some massive news, OK? But first, I'm asking if you can find it in your heart. If you can't find it, then you haven't got a heart, OK, ladies and gentlemen, to give the very handsome Joey a forever home. Gosh, let's bring up the Dog of the Week. There we are.
No.
Joey, look at that little face. Joey is 18 months old. He's a crossbreed, OK? And as viewers can see, he's full of energy and still displays puppy-like behaviours. Bless him, especially when playing in the paddock with his buddies. Anyway, to find out a little bit more about Joey, we're joined by Nina Hasbury, who's a charity trustee at Paw Prints to Freedom. Nina, great to have you on the show. Fantastic stuff. Right, tell me about Joey.
So Joey is lovely, bless him. He is a very handsome boy. He's only really a baby still. He does still show those puppy behaviours. He's been with us in the kennels for about 6 months now. He can be quite bouncy and quite energetic, as you said. So for this reason, we would probably say that he would need a home without children, just because of those bouncy behaviours. He's just a really sweet boy. He loves the girls at the kennels. He loves his walks. He just loves being outside and playing. So yeah, he definitely needs his forever home now.
Absolutely, no. And of course, as well, I just basically want to know, is he good on a walk?
He's really good on a walk, yeah.
Oh, good lad,
yeah.
Joey.
He's brilliant.
Fantastic. And so you think he'd be all right with, a family, an active family? He's a young lad. He needs to be, around people who've got a bit of time and energy, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely, I think you said mixed breed, but he's definitely got a bit of lab and maybe a bit of collie in him. So he's definitely an energetic breed. He would do really well with an active
potentially
family.
quite food motivated as well. Sorry to interrupt, but potentially quite food motivated, which can be a good, useful training technique, especially if he's got a bit of lab in him.
Quite food motivated, yeah. He can also be a little bit guardy around his food as well.
Okay.
So that's just something to kind of keep in mind and look out for. Like training would need to be continued with that.
Yeah.
He just gets a bit excited about his food.
Hey, look, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. The first dog that my family had, we had him, bless him, for the first, I think, 11 years of my life, Jack dog. He was a rescue dog. And look, for as long as we had, and he was good as gold. For as long as we had him, you put his food in front of him, just let him eat it, right? Like, that's it. Just leave it. But can I say, how can people get in touch with you, Paw Prints to Freedom, if they want to rehome the wonderful, the lovely Joey?
So our website is pawprintstofreedom.co.uk. We have a Facebook page, Paw Prints to Freedom, Our Safe Haven, which is the Facebook page for the kennels. And we also have Instagram as well. So on any one of those, get in touch.
Lovely stuff. Now, we always like to finish with a massive flourish here on Friday Night Feast. Thank you very much, by the way. That was wonderful stuff, and good luck to Joey. And ladies and gentlemen, I said, you're staying with us, apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that we've got some massive news, right? OK, big news. I've been promising you all show. I mean, for goodness sake, I've been trying to rehome a rescue dog for more than 4 months, right? 4 months we've trying to rehome a rescue dog. And until this week, I thought I was wasting my time, to be honest with you. In fact, I was pretty sure more of them had been, you know... But anyway, there we go. But a few days ago, we found out that Aurora, who appeared on GB News back in May, has found her forever home, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, woohoo! Way! Absolutely, yes, hey, 100%. Here we go. Hang on. So, hey, there we go. Good stuff. Aurora and her new owners. That's the party poppers. Aurora and her new owners. We've got yes. We've got Annabelle Lowe's and Simon Gorrell as well. You join us now, and of course it's fair to say, isn't it? Okay, that's enough of the party poppers. It's fair to say, isn't it, guys? You watched GB News, you saw Dog of the Week, and you thought you'd give this dog a forever home.
No.
What? What? Where did you see the dog? Are you joking? See, you didn't even see her on Dog of the Week on GB News. You just go into a rescue home and you got a dog.
Yeah.
What flipping heck? Can you send right? Can you send her back, right? Send her back and rehome her again, right? Okay, so that you can say that you saw her on GB News. No, but in all seriousness, all joking aside, look, lovely stuff. How is Aurora?
She's absolutely amazing. We love her to bits. We've had her a couple of weeks now. She settled in so well. She's so well behaved. First night we got her, she was a bit nervous, but then she slept all through the night. Look, she's so affectionate. She's just like a big baby. She is a baby still, obviously.
Yeah.
She's just wonderful. We couldn't be happier.
All right. Well, look, guys, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you for being such good sports. And very, very quickly, would you recommend Paw Prints for Freedom, because they are obviously one of our regulars here?
Yes,
absolutely.
They're amazing.
Absolutely.
Every single person we've spoken to has been fantastic. They're so kind, they're so thorough. Yeah, 100%.
Look, guys, thank you. I know you've waited for ages for that, what is a very short and sharp piece, but we wanted to show you that you can rehome a rescue dog here on GB News, even if you didn't. You know what? I'm still going to do this. Hey, have a bit of that. OK, all right. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you so much for that. Right, gosh. Right, we're running over. This show's chaos. Anyone got a taxi for Christys?
Taxi for Christys.
Right, it's almost time to go, but first, this was the week when, of course, Boris Johnson said that Ukraine would have been safe if Vladimir Putin looked like this. Quite attractive, actually. I think Will probably would, but there we go. Anyway, although, you know, there you are. All right, we were given a first glimpse of what awaits you if you go to hell for after you die. Francine, of course, would as well. And while most people go to Glastonbury, to get away from things, some of this year's festival goers couldn't miss out on their morning jog. Have a day off, you bunch of saddos. We found out that the Minister for School Standards, Robin Walker, might have benefited a little bit from spending a bit more time at school himself. Yes, and remember, I want to hear from you. You got an idea for Challenge Christys? Let me know. Thank you to my absolutely perfect panel. Really loved it. Francine, Will, spot on. What a great show tonight was. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we've kick-started your weekend. I love the absolute pants off all of you. Thank you so much for everyone who's watching. Up next is the Mr. Mark Dolan with Mark Dolan tonight. I'm off for a week. I'm going to have a holiday, but right now it's your weather. People, mwah.
Good evening, I'm Alex Deakin with your latest weather update. The weekends will continue the trend of showers, but with some sunshine in between. Next week, though, does look drier, warmer and a little sunnier for most of us. High pressure has been trying to build in from the south, but this low pressure, these weather fronts are now taking control, bringing some quite heavy bursts of rain across Northern Ireland through this evening, and they won't stop there, spreading into parts of Scotland, northwest England, some bright colours there, some quite heavy rain for a time. The rain spreading into Wales and eventually southwest England by dawn. Much of the Midlands and eastern England staying dry. The torrential showers of Friday afternoon clearing out into the North Sea. Temperatures dropping no lower than about 11 to 13 degrees, so quite a mild night and not a particularly chilly start to Saturday, but it will be a wet start for some. This line of rain extending from Yorkshire across the Midlands, southeast Wales to southwest England will slowly creep eastwards, but not really reach East Anglia in the southeast till late on. Further north and west from that, it's a day of some sunny spells, but also there will be more showers. When the sun's out, 18, 19, maybe 20 degrees. A little warmer in the southeast, 23, but quite cool in the northwest, 15 or 16 at best here. We will see some of those showers getting into the southeast during the evening time, so bear that in mind if you're heading out. Elsewhere, the showers do tend to fade, and so for many, it becomes clear and cool as we head into Sunday morning. Sunday is then another day of sunshine and showers. We start off at 11 to 13 degrees Celsius. There will be sunny spells on Sunday morning, particularly across central and eastern parts of England. But we are looking at a fair few showers coming in from the north and the west, and we'll see some heavy ones, I suspect, by Sunday afternoon, particularly over parts of eastern England and northeast Scotland. In the south, though, and particularly the southwest, not too many showers. A largely dry day here, and that's a sign of things to come. A few showers in the north, but many places becoming dry next week, and certainly in the south, turning warmer.
We are GB News.
We're right across this great nation.
On TV.
On radio,